Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. My name is Ginger Pierce, and I am a travel agent with Marvelous Mouse Travels, which is an authorized diamond level earmarked Disney vacation planner agency. And I'm here with you tonight to share some really bittersweet news. Disney released today their plans to close the Star Wars Galactic StarCruiser, which, if you've been following me for any length of time, you know that that is one of my favorite experiences at Walt Disney World. So I'm super sad to see it go, but we're going to kind of talk about maybe why that happened, some of our ideas about that. But we're also going to share with you ideas of what maybe Disney's has in the plans for the future. And obviously, a lot of that part's just going to be guessing and conjecture, but it's always fun to theorize and do that. And so, to join me tonight and to help me think through and talk through all this stuff is my husband, Evan. So, Evan, thanks for being here and tell everybody your thoughts on StarCruiser closing.
Well, I think it's a real shame. It was only open for what, a year and a half, something like that. It's really unfortunate because it was a huge success to the people who attended it. The people loved it when they were there. So it's really unfortunate that something that was so popular and so fun for so many people is no longer going to be available. And Ginger will explain when the last sailing is. I believe it's in September, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so they announced that the final voyage is going to be September 28th. And so they've actually paused booking on new StarCruiser voyages through May 26th, just to give them time to kind of contact people who were booked after September 28th to, give them options for moving or, figuring out what they're going to do to change their plans. But they will reopen it for booking on May 26th. And so, all that to say that if you want to have this once in a lifetime experience on board the the Star Wars Galactic StarCruiser, this is your opportunity to do it, because that last and final voyage is going to be September 28th. So if you're maybe not familiar with what the StarCruiser was and is, still at least through September, I'll share a little bit about it. Back about a year ago, I got the opportunity to go on a media event. Our agency was invited by Disney to come and experience the StarCruiser, and there were four of us who went. It was our agency owner and three of us agents. And, all of us, with the exception of our agency owner, actually, who loves StarCruiser, despite the fact that she's not a Star Wars fan. But all the rest of us were huge Star Wars fans. And so we were super excited to get this experience. And it is a 2-night all-inclusive vacation, essentially. So all of your food was included. That's, all meals, but also tons of snacks, very much like you find on a cruise ship. It was that type of experience. It also included a lot of onboard activities, things like sabacc tournaments and lightsaber training and bridge operations
I
training.
think you need to explain what sabacc is.
Okay. So sabacc is basically like space poker, was the best way I know how to explain it. All sorts of tournaments and things like that, like dance contest, costume contest. So the type of onboard activities you find on a cruise ship, you would find on a StarCruiser.
Lightsaber training.
Yes, lightsaber training as well. So all of that was included. Admission to Hollywood Studios for one day was included. You also got lightning lane passes to the Galaxy's Edge attractions. You got a meal voucher for Docking Bay 7 while you were in the park. Plus, you got the most interactive, immersive character experiences ever that I've ever experienced at Disney. And that's, having done multiple character meals and multiple after hours parties and things like that. So it was a special and unique experience, but it was a premium experience. It was a very expensive experience and definitely not something that was probably, a yearly event for most families. It for some people it might be, but for the vast majority of people, it's something that you maybe save up for a long time. In fact, that's been, a lot of the comments that I've seen under articles where, the closure's been announced. People have been like, oh, I was saving up to go. Like I wanted to be able to do this. It was a lot of money, but it was also came with a lot of stuff.
So we got a few comments here from a gentleman named Antonio. He said, I think they should make it a regular resort, make it affordable for everybody to go. He said, I'm DVC. They wanted 350 points for two people. That's absurd. And he said, 5,000 for two people. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't understand the points system for DVC, so I can't speak to that at all because, that's not something that I'm affiliated with. But, I mean, it is like, if you're looking at what, comes with it and everything, it's definitely not the least expensive Disney experience that you're going to have by far. And so I understand to a certain extent why they've made the decision to close it, but it does make me sad, as a Star Wars fan and as somebody who got to experience it, and I know how special of an experience it is. I'm sad to see it go, but I do get it.
Well, and I think, exactly what you just mentioned, people saying, saving up to go. Well, I mean, that I wanted to experience it, but I'm not going to get to experience it now. I know other people friends of ours who were hoping to get to go sometime, and that's not going to happen now. Um, I think the price was obviously a big deal, but we were talking about this earlier, Ginger and I were, and why was it priced the way it was? Well, I mean, you consider what's going on. It's an all-inclusive vacation, including admission to Disney World for a day, and you've got all those, team members, cast members, and actors that are on board there. Not just the entertainment, and not just the people on the show, but you've also got a whole staff, of food service personnel, custodial personnel. I mean, like there's a ton of moving parts there, and that drives the price up. And unfortunately, sometimes businesses will come up with a great idea and try it, and sometimes success with flying colors, and unfortunately, sometimes it's not. And apparently, this one was not financially feasible anymore.
Yeah, and I think too, when you consider the fact that there were only 100 rooms on board the StarCruiser, and yet you're having to pay all of those people. You're having to pay all of those performers who were on duty constantly. I mean, even the main characters, like the First Order guy, Gaia, like all of the main people who are involved in the plot, they're there pretty much all the time. I mean, so that's a lot of hours that you're paying those actors for, but you're also paying, the people who are monitoring the interactive rooms, making sure the kids are performing their little tasks, correctly. You had people who were handling, bell services, valet parking, tons of food service people. So when you only have 100 rooms that are paying and you're trying to financially support all of those personnel, you kind of have to charge a premium for that in order to be able to, turn any kind of profit on it. And I think, they just realized that for most people, they're going to take whatever it's going to be, 5 to 7,000, maybe more, depending on what type of room you're in, or how many people you have going. But, a lot of people are like, well, hey, I could take that same amount of money and I could stay for a week at a value resort, or I could go on a cruise, if I wanted to, and things like that. So, I think for a lot of people who maybe
to
aren't.
be fair, an Earth ocean cruise, not a galactic cruise, Star Cruise.
Yes, of course, an actual ocean cruise on this planet, not or in this galaxy, not in a galaxy far, far away. So I think it was just kind of a financial decision that they made. But I'm now I kind of want to turn the attention to maybe the future, and kind of speculate a little bit.
Well, hang on before you do that.
Yeah.
You mentioned people are like, why is he looking that way and pointing over there? Well, because she's actually sitting right there, like 7 feet away from me. You mentioned that booking has been paused until May 26th. So just on behalf of everyone watching right now, just so everyone understands, what you're saying is people, if they want to book a StarCruiser vacation, that will open up again on May 26th. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. And if you're already booked and you're booked for after September 28th and you're thinking, what happens now? Disney's going to contact you. They're going to reach out to you. They're going to talk to you about your options, and you'll kind of go from there and decide what you want to do.
So
Uh,
this is my piece of advice for everyone who may come across this video, either on Facebook or YouTube. If you want to go on this thing, you better be getting with a travel agent and have a game plan ready for May 26th, because May 26th is about to be crazy, crazy. Everybody and their mama and their Wookiee are going to be trying to book StarCruiser on May 26th, because everybody knows this is our last. Listen, I would be, I'll be honest, I'll be shocked if by the end of May 26th there's still availability for any sailing between now and when it closes. I'm just being honest. I really do think it'd be shocking if May 27th rolls around and there's still some spots, because everybody knows it's going to end at the end of September. And so you have May 26th, and that's what, 4 months? You have a 4 month window of when you can sail. So on May 26th, everybody's going to be trying to fill those last few spots that are available, because everybody now knows, well, I've been wanting to go on this thing and now I won't be able to unless I go right now. And so May 26th is going to be a busy, busy day. I would hate to be in the call center for Disney World on May 26th, because those phones are going to be hopping.
Well, and that's another thing too to keep in mind if you do want to book it is that StarCruiser is not like other Disney hotels where you just pop online and you can book it really fast. Every StarCruiser booking has to be called in. And there's specific information that you have to give them. Like you have to have it ready. You have to have thought about it and you have to like be ready to go when you call them and to get the pricing and everything, because the pricing, isn't posted anywhere publicly. You have to call in for that. And so, it is a process. And I would recommend highly working with a travel professional, particularly a travel professional like me who's been on board the StarCruiser and who knows, everything that goes into planning for that. But Evan's absolutely right. Like your chance is almost gone to experience the StarCruiser, at least as it is now. Now, as we kind of transition into speculation zone, I want to be really, really clear up front that Disney has said absolutely nothing about specifics of what their plans are moving forward. So, for all I know, they
So
could be
what you're
planning.
saying is everything you're about to say is confirmed by Disney World, that this is what's going to happen there. And you heard it here first at Ginger MMT.
No, that is the opposite of what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that for all I know, they could be planning to bulldoze that building and build something completely different there. Like they really haven't said what they're planning to do. I will share what I would like to see them do. And then Evan, if you want to hop in with what you would like to see them do, then we can do that. But I kind of share Antonio's initial sentiments when he said, I think they should just make it a regular resort. That honestly is what I hope to see happens with StarCruiser. I hope that they keep the existing structure, they keep the existing rooms, and just do some tweaks to the common spaces. They could take their sublight lounge and maybe make that a quick service grab and go location. They could turn the Crown of Corellia dining room maybe into a table service location. They could revamp some of those activities rooms into maybe club lounges or something like that. Like that, for some of the deluxe resorts, they'll have club level access. You could do something similar for maybe the suites at StarCruiser. And then, if you're not having all of the show elements, then you could, in theory, bump that price point down a little bit and make it more affordable for people to just stay in a Star Wars themed hotel. And I also think it would be cool to, kind of like you can make a reservation at the dining, places at the Polynesian, or really you can eat at any Disney resort with a reservation, even if you're not staying at that resort. So you can go to Chef Mickey if you're not staying at the Contemporary. You can eat at Ohana if you're not staying at the Polynesian. It would be cool if you could make a reservation and eat at the StarCruiser, even if you're not staying at the StarCruiser. So I have no idea if that's what they're actually going to do. Like I said, for all I know, they could be planning to just knock the whole thing down and make it a parking lot. But what I would like to see them do is something along those lines. Evan, what do you think?
100% agree. I would love it if they would make it into a Star Wars hotel, because I think even more people would end up going there. And one thing you mentioned was, if you don't have all the show elements, that does cut down on the cost. And you're right, it does. Also, the food would no longer be all inclusive. And so all of that, the price for the food would no longer be included in that charge, which would also make it more affordable. Then you don't, that huge grand dining hall just becomes a quick service restaurant, essentially a quick service location in a resort, just like at all the others. Because here's the bottom line: it's not going to be nothing. That is too prime of real estate being literally connected to Hollywood studios, and that can still be a selling point from Disney, as far as like if they keep it a hotel, that would still be a selling point. Like, I mean, my goodness, think about over in Disneyland, the Grand Californian has its own entrance connected into part of California Adventure. So I mean, like that would be almost identical with this situation with the StarCruiser. It would have its own private entrance into Galaxy's Edge, and so I think that makes the most sense. It would cost Disney the least to do that, which I also think is advantageous for them in this particular occasion. But the bottom line is it's going to be something, even if it is, like you said, bulldozed and built into something else. It will be something, because the property that it's sitting on is too valuable. They can't just have nothing there. And so that's why I think what you're saying makes the most sense. Just make it into a hotel, a resort that people can stay at.
Yeah, and when they first announced the concept for StarCruiser, like in its infancy, I think that this version that we're talking about of it is kind of what people had in mind. That it was going to be just a themed hotel, like a deeply themed hotel. And I don't think that most people expected it to be as immersive of an experience as it was. And so, maybe the market is there for a Star Wars themed hotel.
I go to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people would. And, particularly if it is a little bit more, like, I don't necessarily see Disney, if they make it a resort, I don't see them making it a value resort. Probably not even a moderate. I think it would probably be at the deluxe level. But even
Yeah, I
at the
totally agree.
deluxe,
Especially
yeah,
since it still would have its own dedicated entrance
right.
into a park.
Exactly. And I think that even at the deluxe level, though, it would still probably come in, a good bit lower than the all inclusive experience that it is currently. So, yeah. But, it's bittersweet news, and I loved how in the wording that Disney put out there today, they were like, we're so proud of our Imagineers and the people who put the work in to come up with this concept, because it was incredibly creative.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it was,
Totally
it
unique.
was, yes, totally unique, and it was Disney storytelling brought to the Star Wars universe. So Disney is great at immersive storytelling, and that's absolutely what StarCruiser was.
But consider what else this means for other Disney properties. Right now, on the Disney Wish, in the Hyperspace Lounge, isn't that what it's called in there? Yeah, in the Hyperspace Lounge, part of the scenery out the window in the Hyperspace Lounges, you see the Galactic StarCruiser out the window. So either that's going away now, or they'll just keep it and hope people don't realize what it is.
I think they'll keep it. And the reason why I think they'll keep it is because, Disney tends to keep like a little bit of nostalgia in place because they know that people love things, and like if you go to right now, the fireworks show at Epcot is Epcot Forever, and it's very much a nostalgic nod to Epcot, present and past. And so, Disney does that. They'll find ways to repurpose things. They'll repurpose props from old attractions into new. And a lot of the coolest Easter eggs at Disney are things that they've taken and kind of repurposed from old attractions that are no longer, around. And so I think that Star Cruisers, will probably still show up on the Wish for that reason.
You mentioned Epcot Forever, and my heart got hurt a little bit. I think this is totally off topic, but I think Harmonious was the most underrated fireworks show in Disney World, maybe history. It was so good.
Oh, I agree. And I think that people just didn't like the barges blocking their view. And I get that. Like it wasn't as pretty to look across, World Showcase Lagoon and see those as it was to look across and see World Showcase.
The symbolism when it's came up, we'll all be together, and all the fireworks coming in from every pavilion in World Showcase. The symbolism is incredible.
It is. And, that's one thing about Disney, though, if they're going to continue to be part of, families' lives from, this generation on into the future, they have to adapt, right? And they have to listen to their guests, and they have to change things and stuff like that. And so, the Disney World that we have today is definitely not the Disney World of 1971. And it's not the Disney World of, 1991 or 2011 or anything like that either. And it will always continue to evolve and change. And I think that that's what it has to do. If it's going to stay, near and dear to people's hearts, they have to keep a little bit of that nostalgia, but they also have to kind of keep one eye on the future. And that's always, kind of who Walt Disney was as a person, and as a leader. He was always, kind of paying homage to the past. Like Main Street, is themed after his hometown, his childhood, but he always kept an eye ahead to the future as well. And so I think that that's what's happened here.
They better never take away the Dapper Dans.
I don't think the Dapper Dans are going anywhere. I think they're safe.
There may be a riot if they take away the Dapper Dans.
Some things you don't mess with. I think
That's
Disney
right.
knows that.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, they messed with the castle back with the 21st or 25th anniversary, where they made it look like candy, and people were like outraged, and they haven't really done that since.
Yeah. They better not mess with the Dapper Dans.
Yeah.
Be serious about that.
Yeah, you've been told, Disney. Give the people what they want.
Like Michael Scott, you have one day.
Oh, man. But anyway, I'm sad to see StarCruiser go, but I am very intrigued and interested to see what they're going to do, if anything, in the future with that particular property. So thank you all so much for watching with us. Just a couple of quick reminders. If you are wanting to get on board the StarCruiser for, before it closes down, make sure that you reach out to me soon so that we can be ready to go on May 26th when that opens back up. And also, if you're not interested in StarCruiser,
busy day.
So it could be a busy day. But also, if you are not interested in StarCruiser, but interested in Disney World 2024, that is going to be opening up on May 31st for booking. And so be sure that you get on my quote list, which you can find at gingermmt.com. That's my blog. In the upper left-hand corner is a little button that says get a quote, and you can click on that to get on my list. But 2024 is going to be an exciting year. Talking about listening to guests and trying to respond to what guests want, Disney is bringing back their fan favorite dining plans, which so many people have been asking for since the parks reopened, in during the pandemic. And so definitely so super excited to see the return of the dining plans. Also, park pass reservations will no longer be required if you've got date-based tickets, and the vast majority of tickets are date-based tickets. So that's really exciting. Unless you have like an annual pass or something, you're probably really not going to have to think too much about park pass reservations anymore. And there's going to be some changes to the Lightning Lane Genie Plus systems. We don't have any information yet about exactly what that's going to look like. But basically, Disney's kind of wanting to give people the ability to do a little bit more advanced planning regarding the return times that they're able to book. So when we know what that will look like, we'll be sure to get that information to you. But as for right now, we just know that they're going to be updating it somehow, but they are bringing back their dining plans and they are getting rid of the park passes for date-based tickets. So again, that booking date is May 31st. So if you want to get on my list for next year, make sure you do that really, really soon. I already have quite a lengthy list of people who are wanting to get pricing or wanting to book for that day. And so I would love to add you to it. Keep in mind that it is no additional money to book your vacation through me than it would be to just go on Disney's website or call into their call center and book it directly with them. But when you're working with us, you're working with someone who is trained by Disney to be an expert in their vacation products, but you're also working with someone who is going to give you concierge level vacation planning services at no additional charge. So I help with things like booking your dining reservations and helping you get your online account set up. I send tons of touring tips with, strategies for how to book your Genie Plus reservations if you're going to do that, or what parts of the park to start in, or what rides to maybe try to go to first. So really anything that you would want to know about your vacation, I'm going to help walk you through that, even if it's something as simple as, hey, they're going to put an incidentals charge on your credit card when you check into the resort. So little things like that you may not know to check on or to be aware of on your own, you're going to get, that information given to you, and just someone there to answer questions, to monitor for discounts, and to be on call if anything about your vacation doesn't go the way that it's supposed to. You have one person to reach out to about that instead of having to wade your way through a call center or anything like that. So if you'd like more information about my services, or if you'd like to submit a quote request, again, you can go to my blog, which you can find at gingermmt.com. You can also find a lot of really great content there. I just released a blog a couple days ago on Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party and the reasons why I love it. I've got a blog up about what the dining plan is and how it works. I've got all sorts of content on there with more to come. So definitely check that out if you've never been. But we thank you so much for watching with us tonight. We hope that you all have a really good evening, and we'll see you again really soon. Bye, everybody.